everybody. I'm Anthony Schultz, and welcome to In Focus. Today I'm joined by Matt Bolender with the Contra Costa Clean Water Program's Used Oil Recycling Project. Matt, thanks for being with us today.
It's great to be here, Tony.
First of all, tell me about the background of the program and how you specifically got into it.
Well, the Contra Costa Clean Water Program, which is ran to the county, has a program where it basically mandates that we try to keep our waters clean. And I think it's a way of trying to educate the public, but also keep awareness is very high, because clean water is a very vital part of California. If you don't have clean water, I think it's going to be a major issue. And we've seen things happen over the years, especially with the Delta. There's been a lot of problems with the Delta, and the Clean Water Program is a program to kind of keep that clean and keep the focus on people, like on your show In Focus, people thinking about the water, how to keep it clean. Now, the Used Oil Recycling Project is basically a branch of this Clean Water Program, which is created through the California Integrated Waste Management Board in Sacramento, where they have a grant to allow the Clean Water Program to educate the public, create new used oil recycling centers through this grant, which is basically why I came on board. I mean, they brought me on as a contractor to educate the public, basically.
And you know, some goals that you guys have to get this whole thing, or keep this whole thing going. Convenient collection locations. I mean, because if it's not convenient for somebody to take it somewhere, chances are that's when it's going to sit in the garage, and that's when it might get thrown into the gutter or whatever. How do you go about doing that and making it more convenient for people to drop off their used oil?
Well, that's a very important part of the program. I mean, we have 92 sites throughout Contra Costa that people could bring for free and actually to take their used oil to have it recycled. It's a very simple process. You can bring up to 5 gallons of used oil to any of our sites like Cragen's or Jiffy Lube's or AutoZone's. The list goes on, but there's about 92 of them right now. And I think the key is having those sites geographically all over the Contra Costa County, so that no matter where you live in Contra Costa County, you have a site that is not too far for you to drive, because I think we found that the easier it is to recycle that oil, the better chance it's going to be that will end up in our delta, into the creeks, the garbage cans, in your backyard, which is, you know, like I said, it's still a pressing problem. It's not as bad as it used to be, but it's still one of the number one problem for our water in Contra Costa County.
If it's inconvenient, Matt, chances are it won't get done. Because if anything's inconvenient, chances are people just aren't going to do it. And what other methods are you developing to motivate the public to do this?
Well, we have several methods. I mean, I think that the biggest one is we do a lot of public events, where at the public events we'll give away a lot of goodies, like give away funnels and bags, different items to make the public aware that if you take these items and they help you to recycle your oil, that it is a good thing. I mean, let's face it, years ago, nobody was really there to teach the public about this. So I think that having the public awareness of the funnels and the actual items as giveaways, it's a way of kind of conjuring up thoughts in people's heads that this is correct, that you have to take this to used oil and it has to be recycled. Like I said, that's one way. We also have the Enhancement Act. The Enhancement Act is created through the California Integrated Waste Management Board, where every time you take a gallon of used oil to a Jiffy Lube or to a Cragen, they should offer you 16 cents back, because in fact, they are getting paid by the state to have their oil recycled. So in a sense, by you bringing that oil, maybe 16 cents isn't a lot to somebody, but in a sense, it's a way of kind of enhancing something, giving them a reason to get up and take that there and recycle it. Because let's face it, if that oil sits in your garage, and I've seen many stories over the years, I mean, I've been doing this for 13 years, about people who have garages full of oil. And of course, you've got the wife who's sitting there saying, Charlie, when are you going to bring that oil to the shop? You know, when are you going to recycle that? And I'll do it at halftime. Or, you know, this being Super Bowl weekend, you know, there's all these thoughts that people have. And I think that if you make it easy and you make it accessible, then that oil should not be in the garage and will end up in a recycle yard somewhere sooner.
Now, is it working, Matt? Now, these collection centers that are collecting all the oil, have they reported back to you saying that now we're getting a lot more coming back to us than we were in the past?
Well, that's an odd question, because in a sense, there's two things happening right now. As you know, there are so many places you could have your oil changed for very cheap. I mean, Walmart and different Jiffy Lubes and all these little places that are now changing your oil for basically almost nothing. So I think you're finding the culture of California is actually going to the fact of taking that oil to a site to have it done. But the big problem is it's those few people who still are, you know, changing their own oil in their cars. It's the few that are kind of hurting it for everybody, because it only takes 1 gallon of used oil to pollute 1 million gallons of clean water. which is enough for 50 families for an entire year. So when you think about those numbers, 1 gallon, 1,000,000 gallons of water polluted, that's a lot of water. So it's really, the idea is to kind of not only educate the majority, but it's those few who, like I said, maybe they're changing their oil, they're not thinking about what they're doing with it. Maybe they're a teenager who's, not really, knowledgeable about the subject, or maybe it's a cultural thing. It could be that also. People from different cultures where they're not educated about it.
So one apple really can spoil the whole barrel. Let's take time out, and we'll be back with more In Focus right after this.
I got one!
Quick, reel it in!
Hey, look, it's already marinated.
No, it's dead and it's covered with oil and grime. And you don't marinate fish.
It's dead, but why?
Because of that guy. He's dumping his used oil and filter on the ground next to the delta.
Look, here comes Mr. Funnelhead to save the delta. No, the world.
Hey, stop that! Don't you know that by dumping your used oil and filters into the delta, you're destroying our water supply? Too many gallons of used oil and sewage have already contaminated our waters. And even though the average used oil filter looks empty, it still contains up to a cup of used motor oil. Take your used oil and filters to a certified used oil recycling center where they can properly recycle the oil and filter for a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-NO-DUMPING or check out our website at www.funnelhead.com.
And we are back with some more In Focus, and again joined by Matt Bolender. And Matt, I wanted to talk about Mr. Funnelhead, the mascot. Now, I know between October and May, Mr. Funnelhead will be going around to schools all over Contra Costa County, sort of getting the word out to kids. Now, forest fires have Smokey the Bear, and pollution has Woodsy the Owl. You've got Mr. Funnelhead. Now, is it important to have that kind of mascot, that face, a caricature to your program?
Well, I mean, this is the 13th year of having Mr. Funnelhead out there in the public eye and, basically being the spokesperson for the used oil recycling project. I think it's very important because I think over those years, I remember in the very first years, they say, what is that, Mr. Teapot? Or what is that? What is that character? They didn't really have a real easy word for him. But as the years gone by, I mean, Mr. Funnelhead has become a recognized character in the community and the schools and the public events. And it's really, I think it's important because the children, if you think about it, I remember Smokey the Bear very, very, very
Right.
clearly when I was a youth. That was the subject of forest fires, trying to not playing with fire. Now we have Mr. Funnelhead, and like I said, used oil was never really taught when I was a youth about recycling oil or what
Not
to
at
do
all.
with it or where it should go. So yeah, I think it's important to have that figure, and it's really funny because sometimes I'll go to schools and then I'll go to a public event, and some of these children who were 3rd and 4th graders 13 years ago, they come up to me and said they're driving a car now, they're 20 years old, and they're going, I remember Mr. Funnelhead come to my school, and he was so cool, and it was such a fun show, and I changed my oil, and I recycle it. So that's the kind of message, the stuff that really makes me feel good about it, because like I said, a lot of programs don't have a face like this, and it's just kind of a generic, logo or maybe a name or a title, but having a character like Mr. Funnelhead has gone a long way, and I think that I found this out a couple years ago. I was at a seminar in Lake Tahoe, and there's a lot of different people from all over California, including Hawaii. And the people from Hawaii and actually some down south really wanted to take Mr. Funnelhead, the character, and use it for their program. So I thought it was very, it was interesting to hear that other people liked the idea of Mr. Funnelhead and using him as a mascot for their own program.
Because when you think of Woodsy Owl, give a hoot, don't pollute, I mean, that always stuck with me. So if you have that caricature, that mascot, it's just easier to get the message across to everybody. How has Mr. Funnelhead been received by, say, grown-ups? Or do they make fun of Mr. Funnelhead, or do they generally, see him as a positive thing, and they know exactly, when they see Mr. Funnelhead, they know exactly what that's all about?
Well, I think it's, like I said, Mr. Funnelhead is really a character mostly for the youth. I'm not saying the adults can't enjoy him also, but I think, when they see him at public events, most of the adults now, the funny part is when your child goes to school and he learns something and he comes home and he tells you something, are you more likely to listen to your child tell you about something after the day, or a friend whom you might just ran into off the street? Well, I think that your children, the message they give you is so much stronger. So I think that a lot of the parents in the communities are actually learning about our program through their children, because the children take this message. We do a 35-minute show, which basically explores the world of Mr. Funnelhead. We have about 9 different characters and 3 different shows we've performed over the last 13 years with music and lights and smoke and sounds. We even have a PowerPoint presentation.
Mr. Funnelhead the musical.
Mr. Funnelhead the musical, yes. And these actors who actually perform the show, these are all people from the community who are name actors that work at like Dival Light Opera Company, different theater groups in the area. So these are actors who have come on board with the idea that they know that they're part of something special, because this is something that's been going on for a while, but it's something that's going to be remembered for a while also, just like Smokey the Bear. I think that, as a 42-year-old, I know that, Smokey the Bear was still important to me, and just like these kids nowadays will be thinking about Mr. Funnelhead maybe 30 years from now also.
So we've got a Mr. Funnelhead coloring book here, and you can sort of follow along. The kids can follow along Mr. Funnelhead and his all his friends. And Dastardly Dan, a guy who dumps his oil into wherever, lakes, streams, whatever. Bad things happen to those who don't recycle their used oil. We'll take another time out and be back with more In Focus in just a moment.
Did you guys see that kid in class today with those crazy clothes?
Yeah, what a joker.
Hey, look, it's Mr. Funnelhead, the captain of clean water.
And he's talking to my dad. Let's go see what's going on.
Okay.
You gotta take that, you gotta recycle it. Yeah, you gotta bring it down to the used oil recycling center. They'll recycle it for you. It's so simple.
Oh, well, I didn't know, okay. Okay, okay.
What you doing, Mr. Funnelhead?
Oh, just educating your dad on what not to do with his used motor oil. It still amazes me how many people don't know how to recycle used motor oil.
How did you learn how to recycle used motor oil?
And where did you get that cool cape?
Oh, that's a very long story. Would you like me to tell it to you?
Yeah, sure.
Well, it all started when I was just a little funnel. My parents brought me up right, always caring about the environment, recycling almost everything, and treating people with respect. But deep down inside, I knew I didn't quite fit in. I played sports, and even though I was very athletic with my large frame body, it was always an uphill battle. Soon my teen years came, and I was just trying to fit in. But no matter what I did to try to fit in, it just didn't work out.
Hurry up, let's go!
I'm coming! Wait for me! I'm coming! I'm moving! I'm coming! Wait for me! I'm coming!
Come on.
Hey, wait a second. This,
Can't you squeeze in?
Come on, get in.
We don't have one, babe. We gotta go.
get in.
See ya.
No, bomber.
Suddenly, I looked down and saw what looked like black gold, Texas tea, running down the gutter in front of me. I had discovered oil! Yippee! Oh, wrong show. It was just my neighbor dumping his used oil down the gutter. Well, my father always told me to take care of Mother Earth, and I knew that if the oil running down the gutter made it to the storm drain, it would then lead to our creeks, rivers, delta, and finally the bay. I had to stop it. I quickly ran over to Mr. Jones and told him to stop. You're gonna kill all the duckies and fishies in the creeks. He replied, so what? Then I began to toss kitty litter all over the used oil to soak it up. And I dumped a little on Mr. Jones as well. He soon began to get the picture. From that moment on, I knew I had a job to do. I would travel door to door explaining to people why it was so important to recycle used motor oil. I started with parents because they were the ones driving right now and changing their motor oil. I was amazed by the number of adults who didn't know what to do with their used motor oil. Some even said they used it to kill their weeds. It's so easy. Just call the Contra Costa Clean Water Program at 1-800-NO-DUMPING and they'll tell you where the nearest oil recycling center is. Or they could look up their website on the internet at www.funnelhead.com. Some cities even have curbside recycling of used motor oil. Just seal it, label it, and leave it on the curb with the rest of the recyclables. But I knew that if I didn't educate the youth of Contra Costa about the recycling of used motor oil, that all my work was for naught, because they are the future. So I embarked on a tour of local schools. I started with middle school, only to realize that these kids were a little too old for my funnelhead song and dance show. I'm Mr. Funnelhead, I'm Mr. Fun. I've got a job to do, and recycling oil is #1. Hey, when I see people dumping oil in the creek, hey, cut it out. Hey, whatever. It really makes me freak. Hey, step, get it, ow, ow. Then I hit the elementary schools, in particular the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students. We improved the show a little bit, and they took to me like an old friend, enjoying what I called my entertainment education. This funky alien stuff is oil right here. It's on his planet, no one really cares. No, we didn't. But he stopped dumping and polluting too. Right. He's learned to recycle now, and so can you. Come on and celebration. We gonna recycle and have a good time. Yeah, celebration. Saving the planet is your job and mine. All right. Yeah. This time we join together and save the world and make it better. Then one day I was sitting outside a downtown restaurant when a man with big pointy ears, a black hat, and cape started running down the street with a can full of used motor oil. He started dumping it everywhere, on plants, trees, and even people.
Right here. Yes, sirree. Oh, yeah, right here. Oil slick on the road. Yes, sir. Storm drain. Yes, sir. All the little duckies and fishies.
Stop! Who do you think you are, dumping your oil all over Contra Costa County?
I'm Dastardly Dan, of course, king of oil pollution in this county, and I love dumping my oil all over Contra Costa.
Not if I can help it. I tried to catch him, but he was just too slippery for me. I had to stop him, though. Too much was at stake. So I came up with an ingenious plan on how to stop him. Dad! I finally caught you at last.
How dare you!
You're coming with me now. Come on. After catching Dan, I called the cops, and because it was Dan's 13th offense, they took him downtown. After catching the notorious Dastardly Dan, I was awarded this cape, proclaiming me the captain of clean water and used oil recycling in Contra Costa County.
I'm Kathy Hicks from the Walnut Creek City Council.
Wonderful.
And I would like to present you with a special award, Mr. Funnelhead, for being the captain of clean water in Contra Costa County and here in Walnut Creek helping us to clean our creek today.
Well, thank you very, very much.
Mr. Funnelhead.
Are we going to put this on now?
Oh, yes.
Thank you very much. So that's my story, kids.
Wow, that was amazing. I bet you have a lot of people coming up to you and say what a good job you do.
Yes and no. Many people have commended my work, praising the educational value of the information I spread to both adults and children. But there are still those out there who lack concern for our world's future. They see the Earth as their own giant dump site. That is why my job is far from over. I must keep educating both far and wide those who just don't care about tomorrow. You see, the future is yours, and if we don't take care of our environment now, it may not be around tomorrow.
Wow, how can we help, Mr. Funnelhead?
It's easy. The next time you see someone dumping something into the gutter or storm drain, go tell an adult so they can call the authorities. Also, if you notice an oil leak in your car, tell your parents they should get it fixed soon, because not only will it help the environment, but possibly save their engine from expensive work in the future. If you find an oily mess in your neighborhood streets, just apply some fresh kitty litter to the mess and sweep it up into a bucket. Save that bucket for proper disposal with the Household Hazardous Waste Program. These little steps can help our environment greatly. One by one, we can make a difference. For more information, call 1-800-NO-DUMPING or check out my website at www.funnelhead.com.
Wow, you're cool.
Oil recycling isn't only cool, it's free, it doesn't cost anything, it's easy. I have certified centers all over Contra Costa County, and yes, it's very, very cool.
And we are back with more In Focus. Matt, we just saw the story of Mr. Funnelhead, and I know the mayor of Walnut Creek and the police department put a lot into this. Tell me about their roles in this whole program.
Well, I think that the whole community in all is basically should be an important part of this program, because this is a local program that deals with a lot of local issues, and I think that used oil recycling, rather than looking at it as a global issue, I mean, people always say think global, act local. Well, I think that's important to think about, but this program really accents the fact of bringing the community involvement. I mean, I know we use local actors like I mentioned before, but for instance, the story of Mr. Funnelhead has Kathy Hicks, who used to be a Walnut Creek City Council member, mayor. She's now retired, but she was a big advocate of clean water and the creeks and storm drains. So she took part in the story of Mr. Funnelhead, along with the police department, who actually arrested Dastardly Dan and took him off to the precinct. So I think it's important to keep that local flavor idea involved in this whole story, because like I said, this is a local program. It's not some kind of statewide or nationwide program. It's done within Contra Costa County, so I think it's important to have that local angle to it.
And of course, when you get those kind of people involved in it, it just kind of helps it spread out a little bit, people that other people in the community recognize. That's got to just help a program like this.
Oh yeah, I think that like I said, Kathy and there's other members of the community out there who have really been advocates to kind of keep the program out there in the forefront, and I think that as time has gone by, it's actually strengthened the program, and it's made it really more credible. I think the credible part is the part that makes it really important.
It's water, and clean water is just something I guess we take for granted. We've got to know that it's a very precious resource.
Hey, every day you have how many glasses of water do you drink a day, Tony?
At least a couple.
At least a couple. I hope more than that, because water is a very important part of life, and I think that if you're able to have clean water and sustain a clean environment, that's going to be much better for our children. And I think that's the biggest part about it, is that we're basically nurturing something for our children's future. Because let's face it, my kids are 9 and 12 right now. Someday they'll be in my world at 40 years old possibly, and it's going to be interesting to see how the water is at that time period.
Let's take another break, and we'll be back with more In Focus in just a moment.
¿Qué haces debajo de ahí?
Estoy tratando de cambiar el aceite del carro.
Mira el tiradero que estás haciendo. Hay aceite en todos lados. Esto es muy malo para el medio ambiente. Vas a matar peces y pájaros. Y lo que es peor, vas a contaminar el agua que nosotros tomamos.
¿De verdad?
Sí, es muy fácil cambiar el aceite correctamente.
Si eres muy inteligente, ¿por qué no vienes a ayudar?
Primeramente, tienes que poner una toalla vieja debajo del carro, por si gotea el aceite. Después, vacía el aceite en un frasco de plástico y el filtro en una bolsa de plástico. Ciérralo bien y llévalo a un centro certificado de reciclaje para aceite usado como Cregan Autopartes. Recicla ese aceite y mantenga limpio el ambiente.
Para más información, llama a 1-800-NO-DUMPING o visita nuestra página de internet a www.funnelhead.com.
And welcome back to In Focus. Matt, Talk about some of the people coming that might be new to our culture, people coming from other countries that might not speak the language. How do you get this message across to them?
Well, in the past, we've always done different festivals, and one of the big festivals that we used to do was the Cinco de Mayo Festival at the Chronicle Pavilion, which used to be the Concord Pavilion, which has been the Sleep Train Pavilion. I mean, there's been a few
Right,
names in
yeah.
there, but
Same venue, same place, but different names.
Right, and unfortunately, as the climate of the economy has gone, that festival is no longer part of Contra Costa County, and there isn't really any big Hispanic festivals per se. So we actually have been looking for different avenues to try to teach other cultures, especially the Hispanic audience. And one is doing it through ESL, which is English ESL classes, English as a second language. So we have a program that is now going on at Loma Vista Adult School in Concord, where they are teaching through our grant these students in an actual English environment how to recycle used oil through booklets and literature. So if you were, let's say you were a Spanish-speaking person from Mexico, you would come to this class and they'd actually give you literature and handouts and pamphlets and teach you English, but they'd also be teaching about used oil recycling, which I think is very important because, not to say all cultures have a problem with this, but I have noticed in Central America and other places that they sometimes used oil to actually keep the dust down off the roads, which I think was kind of appalling to me, but I imagine back in the 60s and 70s in America, the same thing happened here.
Well, you think a lot of other cultures, Matt, their standards are a lot lower for emission standards and things like that. Usually when you come here, it's a lot higher, right? So you got to get that across. And Matt, tell us, where can people find you? Where can they locate you on the web? How can they get a hold of you if they want to find out more about the program?
Well, the Contra Costa Clean Water Program's Used Oil Recycling Project has a website, which is very easy. It's www.funnelhead.com. And we also have a 1-800 number, 1-800-NO-DUMPING, where you can actually call us and get in contact with us about the program. And I think it's, like I said, the website has been very nice because we've been able to update it regularly with new sites and new information to help the public be aware of the problem. Because I think I said, it's not as bad, I don't think, as it's been 13 years ago, but there's still those people out there who are taking their used oil and they're doing the wrong thing with it. So I think it's important to kind of spread the word and keep that information out there.
Matt, we are out of time. And remember, it's free, it's easy, and it's cool to recycle used oil. For Matt Bolender, I'm Anthony Schultz, and we'll see you next time on In Focus.